annual meeting with Mondelez's Bonin Bough is something I truly look forward to, as he's one marketer who's constantly curious and always looking at unique ways to navigate. For instance, this time round when I caught up with Bonin, all he could talk about was texting, while everyone else seemed to be heading towards the video. Mondelez seems to be straying from the path, but not without reason. The consumer goods company is attempting ways and figuring out mechanisms to engage the 4 billion people who text. Well, without further ado, I give you the one and only Bonin Bough, Mondelez's Chief Media and E-Commerce Officer. Take it away. Thank you so much for joining us, Bonin. My annual meeting with you in Cannes, simply spectacular, and I can't wait to start this very, very eclectic conversation.
I'm very happy to be here once again.
So, you know, every time I track you throughout the year, there's some new things, a new buzzword that you throw up. And this time, what really caught my fancy was CRM, personal relationship management.
Of course.
And you talked about the fact that, you know, social is all right, but I mean, the way forward is via text messaging.
I really began to have kind of a transformational journey maybe 6 months ago, when I started really looking, and Mary Meeker just talked about it in her most recent report. But if you look, in 2011, there was one messaging app in the top 10 downloaded apps in the world, and that was Skype. If you look now, 7 of the top 10 downloaded apps are message-based apps.
Sure.
Snapchat is not even counted yet, but that will be there and many more to come, I'm sure. So, while 1 in 5 minutes are spent in the Facebook newsfeed, which is amazing, 4 to 5 minutes are spent in Messenger. And the relationships that you care about and what you build and what you really do on your phone is in those messaging spaces. And so there's no way that you can sit here and tell me that brands will not communicate with consumers over messaging. It's going to happen. I don't know if we're going to get it right out of the gate. I don't know when, but it's going to happen. So what we're trying to do is begin that journey, because not only is it the most personal form of communication that you can have with the consumer and real relationship building, but also eventually, and I would say in the near future, it removes friction from commerce. So if you think about it, the only bill that anybody pays consistently on the planet is their cell phone bill.
Sure.
And so the ability to say, oh, yes, text back, yes, I'll auto deduct from your phone bill, or buy content, or buy product, or whatever it is. So the closeness to the consumer and the reduction of friction from that relationship, it's huge. This is the future, there's no question.
You just made an announcement that, you know, you will almost double your investment with Facebook, you know, and you're going to be doing something very interesting with them in the e-commerce space with your chatbots. Give me a sense as to why you think, you know, your relationship with Facebook is so profitable that you would double it, and be a little bit about what these chatbots are, because in my market, it's an alien concept.
We are very lucky to have a partner like Facebook. As we began to look at messaging, given the fact that they own WhatsApp and they own Messenger, it became clear that if we wanted to understand this platform, and that's the thing that I think is most interesting, is that if you really step back and think about it, all of the services, all the strategic thinking, all of the ad tech that exists for social doesn't exist for a place where 4 billion people spend their time. 4 billion people use messaging. None of that stuff exists. There's no agency specific to it. There's no, so there's nothing there. And so my point is that there was really nobody to give us the roadmap and look, there are people who have been doing texting, and some of our competitors have done texting, and we've done message programs, but nothing at scale that realizes the real future of this. And so with Facebook, what we announced was our Facebook Messaging Lab. Bots is one part of that, right? I believe that the future has bots, maybe a third of the engagements that you'll have over messaging with a brand or with a service will be bot-driven. I believe the other 2/3 will actually be human-driven or some type of tagging and escalation kind of driven experience. But what the first thing we want to do is just figure out, if you were a consumer, what would you even say to Orion? What would you say?
Why would I want to interact with Orion?
I don't know. I have no clue yet. We're going to figure that out. It could be we offer you something. It could be as simple as the other challenge that we're facing as organizations and in the industry as a total is data. So we are data starved. Whereas the competitors that are coming into the marketplace, whether it's Three Swirls out of China, which is built on the back of Alibaba, or players like a NatureBox, which might not seem like a competitor, and I love those guys, we're super close to them. But if you think about it, they have, I think it's 12 million consumers on subscription. They have real data around their consumers. They not only sell online, but they sell food service and they sell big box now. And as they sit down with retailers, they come to the retailer with real data. They're data rich, we're data starved. All the data that we buy is third party ultimately, right? And so we're constantly held over. But imagine a world where I wanted to get first party data. Imagine a world where I told you, you know what, for this week, any pack of Oreo that you get will be free if you just text me. If you just text Oreo. I don't know what we're going to say there. And I don't know what those pieces are yet. But conceptually, all of a sudden, I get first party data for $4.50.
So tell me this, between, in this particular conference, at this festival, video was very heavily talked about. And all the three players, all the three social behemoths are all betting very big on video because I think that's where the money is and that's where the engagement is. So if I had to ask you to juxtapose, let's say, video versus text messaging, how would you see that?
I don't know yet. So to answer your question, video versus messaging, I think more attention is in messaging right now. So I know if videos drive brand engagement, brand purchase, brand lift, I don't know that yet.
Okay.
I don't even know what really works. You can also deliver video via messaging. I don't know yet. But the point is we're here at a festival that is the brightest minds on the planet, and nobody's talking about it. What does creativity look like in a world where you can only send a message? What does it look? Is emojis? Is that the next? I don't know.
Sure.
Nobody knows. What blows me away, and I bet you next year everybody will be talking about this. But what blows me away is that nobody's talking about it right now, and that's where 4 billion people are spending the largest majority of time.
So would you say you're ahead of the curve right now?
I don't know if we're ahead. I just think we're curious. I think we're curious, and I think we're willing to be curious and make really calculated bets on where we know consumer adoption and attention is going.
I know you've referred to it, but I want you to explain it to me and simplify it to me. And I really want to talk about your new, model, your new marketing model, which is the fearless marketing model, which is what you're calling it. If you could, dumb it down for me and explain to me how that works.
So fearless was a message and an idea that Dana Anderson put to the company 4 years ago, daring us to be fearless. What we've just announced is our media monetization model. It's a model we've been working on for over 2 years now to make sure that we think this is a reality. And the idea here is, can you create content that people actually want to watch? So, look, on our Stride brand, Mad Intent, we've reformulated the product. The new brand behavior is around intensity, Mad Intent, and we're dropping a guy out of the sky at 25,000 feet with nothing on, literally no wingsuit, no parachute, he's landing safely. That's a piece of live programming that everybody in the world is going to watch.
How will that rub off in Mondelez?
So, Mad Intent. So, Stride is integrated through the entire program, and there's no question about that. You can't do anything without coming across Stride. But more important than that is that it's something that people want to tune into. Consumers are skipping ads. They're literally skipping ads, both on DVRs and set-top boxes and online. So how do you create something where a consumer actually wants to sit and tune in? And that's just a different ballgame. And by the way, content creators have been doing it for years. And this is not new. P&G owns soap operas. We were just now disintermediated from it, and it changed the quality dynamic. And so that's really what we're going back to. So we believe 10% of our media money will make us money back.
How long has this program been running, or this initiative of
We just announced monetization, but we've been working on the model. So we already have existing proof points. So we have a game, Oreo Twist Lick and Dunk, which it's a cash positive game with 11 million downloads. We have a platform called Cheese Rank, which we sell ads in. It's a rich-based program. It's basically the BuzzFeed for cheese. And so we've had models in the marketplace already to prove this out, and now it's a firm initiative that we're going after as an organization around the world.
So it's too early to say if the model is working.
No, it will work. There's no question. Okay. I mean, the way that we're structuring it is we're structuring deals with guaranteed payoff. So we're selling distribution rights. Before we even sign contracts, we already know that we sold distribution and markets. So we're not approaching it. I think that's what separates us from a lot of the other content creation models that are out there, which are creating content hoping that it monetizes. We're structuring deals that we know it monetizes.
But in 2015, which is a really tough year for media agencies, extremely tough. I think we're just about recovering.
Picture-palooza. Some did well, some did bad.
Yeah, exactly. So for for a man who was in the midst of all that action, how do you think they've done, and do you think they've, I don't know, pulled up their socks, managed to be slightly more, managed to give marketers more confidence?
I think the challenge was not our confidence in media agencies. I think the challenge was our confidence in a changing ecosystem. And I think what most people really wanted to do was say, and what I think was great about it is it reset the industry. We were able to say to the industry, hey, the world's changing. Right now we're currently operating with the same exact relationship that we've had forever. How do we rethink that relationship? And I know for us specifically, we went in with 3 very distinct points of view that we wanted. Buying is easy. Like, anybody can pressure and negotiate. We wanted to understand, A, content monetization. How can we do this? Is it realistic? How would you do it? What would you think about? 2, e-commerce. In a world that's changing and shortening the path to purchase, how does media play into that? And 3rd, which is most important, which I think is something that's sometimes overlooked, was talent. How are you going to ensure to us that you can retain the talent?
So are you saying the reset has happened?
A large percentage of the reset has happened. I think media agencies have come out on the other side, some bruised, some battered, some better off than they were, but with the understanding that there's a new dynamic in the marketplace that they need to continually change to deliver against.
I just want to, a quick update on Mondelez's e-commerce piece and how that's progressing.
Yeah. So we started e-com a year and a half ago. We have built a pretty interesting custom business where we launched Custom Oreos, the first time ever in 103 years. We ship direct to consumer, and that a person was able to customize the product. It was a fabulous user experience. We just launched that in China, so that's been pretty big. The most important thing that we've done is just built core operations. So we've hired some of the most talented people from some of the best organizations, Amazon. We have a whole space now that we built in Seattle. We've hired from Reckitt Benckiser, we've hired from Colgate, we've hired from Unilever. So I'm plucking every piece of talent I can find to build this business. The biggest thing is figuring out the right operations, how to make sure that we're operating the business in the most efficient, growth-driven way. And then the next piece, surprisingly, has just been, what's the user experience on our retailers? So our majority of our business is partner with retailers. What's the user experience on those retailers' sites? What does it look like when you search for Oreo on Amazon? How does Cadbury show up on Tesco? So really fixing that content and creating the right experience. And then the last piece has been, what's the right pack architecture, pack price architecture? What do consumers actually want from that shopping mission? So we spent a lot of time uncovering the insights around shopper missions and now delivering. So the business is phenomenal. I'm excited. I know we're going to crush that billion number.
Thank you so much, Bonin. On that note, once again, pleasure was all mine. Amazing conversation, and I hope to see you very soon in India.
I hope to see you too. Thank you so much as always. And if not in India, which I hope we do, I will see you next year. That's for sure.